Hello and welcome to this platform, Travel with Irene. My name is Irene, and if you are new here, welcome. I'm glad you could join us. In this platform, I share 3 topics. I share hiking adventure related information and content. I also share travel information and also African diaspora matter, which in today's conversation falls under that topic. So today we will be discussing how to apply to become a U.S. citizen. Particularly, we will be talking about citizenship through naturalization. If you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button or the notification button so you are notified the next time I post a new video or content. And if you're a returning guest, welcome. I am glad you are here. And because of time, today we will only be covering ways to become a U.S. citizen, particularly, like I said, citizenship through notification. So there will be a lot of information that my guest, Carin, will be sharing. It's all going to be condensed. We're going to try to share as much information as we can in a short time. So feel free to pause the video so you can take it all in or rewind it, or also just rewatch the video again, and even share it with friends and family who you think might find this video helpful. And I guess it's important I put it out there that in order for one to give legal advice, they need to be a lawyer. I am not a lawyer, so if at any time throughout this video I come across as if I am giving any advice, please disregard that because that is not my intent. And hence the reason I have Carin Weinrich, who is an immigration attorney at the Weinrich and Soref and Weinrich law firm located here in Seattle, Washington State, and the office is located in downtown Seattle. Carin, thank you so much for your time and having this sit down with me.
Thank you, Irene. I'm looking forward to our time today.
Oh, yes, I appreciate it. So that because of time, let's just get started. If you could please introduce yourself, who you are, and then we will jump on our topic of the day today.
My name is Carin Weinrich. I've been an immigration attorney for over 20 years, and one of my focuses is naturalization. So I look forward to talking to you about the process and what you need to be aware of and resources onto either potentially hiring an attorney, doing it on your own, or attending a citizenship clinic so that you are well versed on what needs to be done before you apply.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the introduction. And so that we are all in the same level, we're just gonna quickly jump onto the topic so that we are on the same level. Carin, is the process of naturalization or applying to become a citizen pretty standard, or is it different state to state? Let's say somebody in Washington, somebody in Texas, how does that go?
So it's the same process for each state because it's a federal law. It's just the processing times may be slower in Seattle than they are in another place in the country. The process is the same. You need to have had a green card, and you either need to have obtained your green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen. If you got your green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen, you can apply if you meet all the requirements once you've had your green card for 2.5 years, or basically 3 months before you've met the 3-year mark. If you've gotten your green card through another way, employment, diversity lottery, asylum, refugee, you can apply once you've had your green card for 5 years, or you can apply it at 4 years and 9 months.
Okay. Thank you for that. So the process is pretty the same, regardless whether you're watching this in Texas or you're watching this in Mississippi. It's pretty much the same as somebody in Washington State because we are located in Washington State. That's great to know. So what is the first steps towards becoming a United States citizen through naturalization? What jumpstarts that process? Is it a green card?
Yeah, to become a U.S. citizen, you must have a green card, and you must have had a green card. I mean, there is exceptions. You must have it for either 3 years. You must have had your green card for 3 years or 5 years, unless you meet one of the exceptions. There's sometimes you meet quicker if you're involved in the U.S. Army, which we're not really going to go into kind of those details, the exceptions. That would take over too much time.
Yes.
But there is some exceptions. But generally, you need to have your green card for either 3 years or 5 years, depending on how you got it.
Okay, so let's say somebody has a green card and they can get that green card and correct me if I'm wrong, it is through maybe employment and then family fear, and that is under asylum, refugee, is that right?
Correct.
And then the other one is diversity, lottery, and humanitarian, which today we'll be covering more of the diversity lottery, right? At least
Well,
that's
diversity lottery is just one of the ways. I mean, the key thing is you have to have your green card. To even start the citizenship process, you have to have a green card first.
okay.
And it's called lawful permanent resident status.
Okay.
Folks will think that they have an employment authorization card, they can go straight to citizenship. No, you've got to have this green card first.
Okay. Okay. So let's say somebody won the lottery, got a green card, they're here in the United States, or they came here as asylee. They got they have their green card. So what's the next step for somebody who has a green card?
So if they've got it through diversity lottery,
Mhm.
once they've had their green card for 5 years, they can apply to become a citizen, and they can file at 4 year, like 3 months earlier, based on someone, if they have spent. So let me go again to the requirements. So it's
Okay.
5 years. You need to be a person of good moral character. You need to have lived for the last 3 months in the district, the USCIS district where you're filing.
Mhm.
It's a 25-page application. You need to have spent more than half of that 5-year period in the United States. So like you could be traveling back and forth to Africa, but you've got to spend more than half of that time in the United States. If you've left for longer periods of time, if you've been gone for more than 6 months, a lot of times, or if you've been gone for more than 1 year, you really need to go see. You need to speak to an immigration attorney if there's issues with your travel, if you've been traveled outside the US too much.
Okay. Okay. That is a lot of information, and we're going to try to break it down a little bit so that viewers and myself can also understand. But before I even ask for that clarification, I should point out that for the viewers, some of the question I will be asking Carin, she'll probably come back with an answer that says, well, really, it depends case by case basis. And that is a response you'll hear from immigration attorneys. So don't be surprised if an immigration attorney will not have an answer you want to hear. They'll probably say, I really need to have the big picture and the entirety and details of your case for me to be able to give you proper and correct advice. And I think that is true to life, right? In life, everyone will say, well, it really depends with context, everything, because the little minor details might change the entirety of a case. So if you hear Carin saying that, now you can expect her to say, it really depends with your case and you should talk to an immigration attorney. So you touched on the application process, the requirements and the requirements, and maybe we can even jump on fees, but let's just break that down a little bit. So you said there is an age, and I'm referencing to my notes here. So if I'm looking down, I'm just wanting to make sure that I get all the details correct and answer all the questions that I have prepared for you. So you said about having good moral conduct. You talked about maybe even, I don't know if you said this, somebody being able to read and write in English. There's an age requirement and a travel requirement. and also how long somebody has stayed in the United States. Do you mind repeating that again?
Yeah, so let's first start. So definitely just to step back. I mean, it's really important that that a person applying for citizenship goes through their immigration history. And if there's any things that may be an issue or questions they have, they seek legal advice on that, because immigration is going to look through their whole immigration history, and you don't want to apply for citizenship and then immigration come back and say, oh, we're going to take your green card because you really shouldn't have got that status, or there's an issue, something's awry. And so it's really important to seek a legal advice if you think there's an issue with your green card, or maybe you've done something since you got your green card that gives you question, because it's a bad outcome to go to apply for citizenship and then it doesn't work out and you're so first is, we've already pretty much talked about either you're eligible at 3 years or 5 years since having your green card.
Okay.
Got that taken care of.
And clarification, 3 years, what is the difference between 3 and 5?
So if you've had your green card, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you can apply once you've had a green card for 3 years.
Okay.
And then everyone else has to wait 5 years.
Okay. Okay.
And there are, and thank you for the reminder, there is exceptions to the reading and writing. If you've had your green card for a certain period of time and you're a certain age, there is exceptions to having to do things in English. Maybe you can take there's 2 citizenship tests. There's one, if you've had your green card for a certain period of time, you can take it's like an easier test a little bit, but it would be in your own language.
Okay.
But right now there's 100 questions, and then they'll ask you 10 of them. Once you've got 6 of them right, you passed the civics part. They'll also ask you to read a sentence in English, write a sentence in English.
Okay.
And the information on the questions and the answers, plus the vocabulary, all this stuff is available on the USCIS website.
Okay. Okay.
The only little questions aren't really trick questions, but just sometimes they might ask you the name of your representative, or the name of in the Congress or Senator, or who the vice president is, or who the Supreme Court. So there's a couple questions where the answer could change depending on when you apply.
Okay. And when you're referring to the exam, this is when somebody has started the application, they have submitted the application and it has been accepted, and now they're moving to the next step, which requires having a certain civil test. Is that right?
Yeah, it's at the interview. So I mean, when someone is seeking to apply to become citizen, they need to, unless they meet one of the exceptions, they need to be able to read, write, and speak English, and plan on the interview being in English. And so if your English isn't to that level, or you're nervous, I mean, there is English classes that you can take, and different, that folks can take, or citizenship prep classes, I think, at the community colleges that someone can take.
Okay. Okay. And we'll get into that a little later on. So the application process, whether it's a green card or you're a green card, wait 5 years to apply. If you're married to your United States citizen, you can apply within 3 years. So for somebody watching this and they're thinking, Carin, you have said a lot of information. I am not sure where to start. Do I need an immigration attorney? Is one required to start this naturalization process?
So, I mean, there was no issues in getting your green card, no complications, you don't have to have an immigration lawyer. I mean, I think I recommend, as an immigration lawyer, I recommend that you meet with a lawyer just to make sure that there isn't anything that you may not be aware of, or maybe after your green card, you had some issues with the law, some criminal things might have come up, that it's safe for you to apply. Now, there are citizenship clinics in the Washington state. There's also these citizenship clinics around the country. And you want to meet, it needs to be a nonprofit, not a notario or someone, a nonprofit that actually provides citizenship assistance, so that you're getting good legal counsel on whether or not it's wise for you to apply to become a citizen or not. They'll go over the form with you, answer your questions, walk you through the whole process. You know, I mean, some people can do this without an attorney. So, but I do think these, if you can find a citizenship clinic that helps people apply, that's a good place to start.
Okay. Do you have a name in mind, maybe here in Washington State, or?
Yeah, so it's so One America does it with it's called the New Americans Program.
Okay.
And it's a partnership with the association that I'm a member of, American Immigration Lawyers Association, and One America / New Americans. And it's one thing that I volunteer quite a bit at, so.
Okay. And is this a free service to people, or?
It's a free service. It's a 1 day.
Okay.
And so basically you'll meet with various paralegals, you meet with a lawyer, it'll be an all day thing, but they'll walk you through the process.
Okay. And so just to clarify, they will not help you file the application process. They'll just give you advice. Is that right? Is that what I'm
They'll
hearing?
actually go through the whole form with you.
Oh.
They will fill it out with you. If it's safe to apply, they'll get it all ready, and we'll give instructions on how you mail it and send it with the check.
Oh,
and
wow.
give you information on the next. Yeah, it'll get you through the whole process. The good part of it, you know, that is awesome, because you can get good legal advice to file your application and get it done. If there's an issue in your case, it'll be spotted, and then there's a list of referral attorneys that you can go seek their advice. You would have to pay for their advice unless a nonprofit takes your case, but it's a good way to feel comfortable. You learn about the process. You can be comfortable that it's okay for you to apply. You know what to expect.
Okay. Wow.
It's a 1 day. I mean, it's not continuous representation, but that 1 day is very helpful.
Wow, that is quite helpful, I would say. Yeah, wow, that is incredible. There are a couple of things you mentioned earlier. You said one of the requirements, having good moral conduct, or moral conduct. And if there's an issue with your case like that, maybe a criminal charge, consulting with an immigration attorney. For somebody watching this and they're thinking, maybe they're facing criminal charges or they have a criminal history, what are the implications of this in their immigration status?
So there's two things. Let's go to the criminal, then we go to some red flags that may be indications of possibly not good moral character. If you have a criminal history, I recommend you seek the advice of an immigration lawyer, because each case is different, and I need to know what crime, even if it was dismissed, depending on was it dismissed because you pled guilty? There's a lot of things going on with that, and I would not recommend. I mean, I can't just give a general statement between what is safe and what is not safe. I mean, if you've got a lot of parking tickets, that could be an issue for you as well.
Really?
We've had a couple clients that have had a lot of parking tickets. So, that's another, doesn't mean you can't, but you might have to submit more evidence of good moral character, or maybe you wait a little bit so you don't have to, so even if your case was expunged or closed, all criminal history anywhere in the world or any citations have to be listed on the immigration form. So nothing goes away in the world of immigration. So.
Wow, that is interesting, which it was a question I was just thinking when you were talking about that. Let's say somebody has a charge, does it go away at a certain point, or it still sticks to your history?
It still sticks to your history. And there's also, to prove good moral character, if you had a crime in the last 5 years, so they're looking at good moral character during the citizenship process. So if you apply for a citizen, they're looking at the last 5 years. Are you a person of good moral character in those last 5 years? If you have a criminal record or something happened in this last 5 years, can you still be considered a person of good moral character because of that? If you've had your green card for 10 years and you did something in those 5 years, they could, and then maybe you did something else 10 years ago, they could look at that, and they can look beyond the 5 years, so like if you had 2 DUIs, are you really, there's just, criminal things, they can look back and it's, you know, they're looking at it a totality of circumstances. Also, if you're on probation, they won't approve your case until you're off probation.
Okay.
So, you know, you've got that 5-year or 3-year good moral character. Just other red flags to think about are, they're going to make sure that you've always filed your taxes as a resident. No,
Okay.
you can't file as a non-resident.
Okay.
If you have you filed your taxes? Are you behind in your payments? That's fine as long as you have a payment plan. But have you ever not filed your U.S. taxes? Do you have children and you've not supported them? Or are you behind on your child support? I mean, there's other factors that kind of come out when you go through that. I mean, there's a lot of questions regarding, you know, drugs and crimes and drug trafficking and guns and, you know, persecution of others and various other things. I don't really want. There's a whole long list. It's 25 pages, so there's a lot. There's a lot of those, but you know, those are just kind of the more routine. You know, have you served in the military? Have you served in a jail? I mean, there's, you know, do you know how to use guns? So there's a lot of other things, but the good moral character period is they're looking at a 3-year or 5-year period. And what we sometimes do in our office is we submit letters from friends or coworkers that are U.S. citizens that are commenting on the person's good moral character. Like, they're a great person, they go to church, they go to work every day, they support their family and their children, you know, they help me out when I have a bad day. You know, so there's things that you can do, but you're looking at a 3-year or 5-year period of good moral character.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So there might be somebody watching this and they're thinking, what if somebody has lost their immigration status? Is there a way to regain it?
Well, it depends on how they've lost it and what we're talking about. Are we, you know, have they lost their green card, like physically lost it, or has it been taken away? That kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If your card has expired, you haven't lost your green card. It's just you need to file to get it. You need to get another green card.
Okay.
But if someone's taken it away, then that's a difference. Then it's a whole, is there another option? Was it taken away lawfully?
Okay. So it really depends with the situation and details of that.
Yeah.